And welcome back to class, everybody. Today is Sunday, October the 25th. No Bengals game today, so I'm trying to get caught up. Hope everyone's doing well this week. I was peeking around in the class just a little earlier and saw that some have turned in their first draft of Writing Project 3. Not everyone, but there is still time. I hope everyone gets that in by the deadline. Today we're going to take a look at class session 10. And I think this one's not too heavy on workload. I know you were quite busy this past week writing your first draft of Writing Project 3. And the pattern will continue to repeat itself. Now that you've turned in a draft, you're going to get feedback from me, of course, but you also have the opportunity to get feedback from some of your peers in this course before you turn in the final version. So the learning activities include 2 chapters from the textbook, Examining Causes and Effects, and also Chapter 26, Avoiding Common Problems in Style. There's also a quiz this week that you'll be doing, so make sure you make careful notes on Chapter 26. And there are 3 supplemental resources. Practice grammar activity. Absolutely do this one just before you take the quiz. If you do that in this order, you'll do great on the quiz. A supplemental resource on Purdue OWL, and a PowerPoint on Principles of Peer Response. You've had this one before, so if you've done it in one of the earlier sessions, you can probably overlook this. And also, I'm going to give you one additional resource to help you with citations, but more on that later. The assignments and assessments, we're going to complete discussion boards 9 and 10 on warming up the audience. You've already written your original post, and you'll need to do 2 responses. Here is the quiz, the grammar exercise on word choice and style, and then the peer response for Writing Project 3. Let's jump into the learning activities and get a little more detail. Of course, here's your textbook with the 2 chapters that you have to read, and here is the quiz. The rest of what is listed here are the supplemental resources. So as I mentioned before, take the practice one first, then jump directly into this. You'll get a great score. Actually, I'm going to go back one to the learning activities and point out to you, here is the link to the Purdue OWL website. And as we've discussed before, Purdue OWL is the definitive source on everything related to citations and formatting in MLA. Now, as I've been reading your papers, most of the folks in the course have been doing very well on their citations, but I still see a mistake here or a mistake there. So I wanted to offer one alternative to you on checking and creating citations. And that's up here. It's called Citation Machine. There are hundreds of websites like Citation Machine. This happens to be the one that I find the best. It is not infallible. It will make mistakes, but it's right most of the time. And what Citation Machine does is help you properly format a citation. You're allowed to use this in this course. Of course, I can't stop you from doing it, and you could probably use it in any other course you're going to be taking. But when you go to citationmachine.net, not .com, that's a different one, it says check your style, or choose your style, excuse me. APA, MLA, Chicago, etc. And of course, we're using MLA in this course. And I've got 2 examples here. I brought 2 books with me off my bookshelf. And we'll just give this a test and see how it works. These are the different types of sources you can cite. And for this one, I'm going to use the automatic version, and next I'll do a manual version, so you can see how this works. The title of the book is Unbroken. It's a nonfiction book written by Laura Hillebrand. It was also made into a movie a couple years ago, which was very good. And I just found it simply by typing in the title. I'm going to select that title. Notice there are other books by the same name, and it automatically fills in the author's name, the full title. There is no volume or edition. Location of the publisher, the name of the publisher, and the year. I can add additional detail here if I think it's necessary, but this is all that is essentially required. And then I simply click on Create Citation and wait some more. And here's my citation. And because I know MLA pretty well, I can tell you this one's exactly right. So I could simply cut and paste or copy this into my works cited page on my list of works cited. Now, this does not show you how to cite a quotation within your paper. This refers only to listing it on the list of works cited at the end of a paper. So let's try this again, and this time we'll use the manual method. And this could be for a book that isn't automatically listed, or for an obscure source, or it's for a magazine or a newspaper where news sources come out all the time and it may not be listed here. So rather than fill in this field, I'm going to go down to what am I citing? And I have a second book here that I'm going to use, and I'll type in the author's name. And notice that there's a drop-down box. If there's more than one author, I could add that there. Or maybe Mark DeWalt is an author in this case, but he could also be an editor. I could change that type. I could add a second author or editor here. I do not have, because I'm using a book, there is no volume or edition. I know this is moving slow, but it's because I'm having to do this manually. And once I've entered in the place in which it was published, the publisher, the year, I've already got the author in there, and the title, I simply click on Create Citation. And there it is. And it's in proper format. The writer's last name first, then their first name, Amish education in the United States and Canada, italicized. All of these are always followed by a period. The city of publication, it doesn't have to list the country because I think everyone knows that Toronto is in Canada. And then the publisher's name, the year, and that I'm referring to a print book. So again, it's citationmachine.net. If you simply want to check your own citations before you list them in your works cited page, you can do that. You can also use this resource to simply create your citations. Again, it will give you the proper format for your works cited page. It will not show you how to cite something within your paper if you're quoting or paraphrasing something from a work. Most of you have been pretty good about that, but it's a way of making sure your works cited page is always correct. All right, let's get back into Blackboard and pick up where we left off, which was looking at the assignments and assessments for week 10. And as I said before, not too hateful. Here's the discussion board for session 9 and session 10. Almost everyone has completed session 9, which was their original post of warming up the audience. So for this week, you're going to pick 2 of those and provide some feedback to 2 other folks within the class. Each of your discussion board responses will be 100 words or 200 words total. Here is the link for opening up the grammar quiz. Again, do the practice one first, then jump directly into this. You'll do great. And then we also have Writing Project 3 peer response. And because these are not yet due, there are only 4 of them listed here. Jacob, Lisa, Alexis, and Stacy all got theirs in ahead of the deadline. That's great, but if you're still working on it, you still have plenty of time. You're going to select 2 of these and give them feedback on what they have written. And of course, you'll also get feedback from me. And I think that might be it for this week. As I said, trying to take it a little easier on you because I know last week was extremely busy. And that does appear to be it. As always, reach out to me anytime. 812-498-4200. You can send me a text to that number. That's my preferred method of communication. You can call me at 800-416-1747. About that phone number, I'll also point out that is to my office phone for my full-time job, but it rings to my cell phone when I'm not in the office. So if it's on a Friday and it's 6 o'clock and you're going to assume I'm not in the office, so you're not going to call, go ahead and still call that number. I'll take the call. And if you want to send me an email, the email address is mstenger and the number 1 at ivytech.edu. Hope everybody's having a great week. I'll see you in class. Take care.